Hi everyone, welcome back. We are super excited for today. It's time for us to reveal our potato bags and see how they did this year and how many potatoes we were able to grow in this kind of 2 square foot area. If you haven't been following along with us, we do have a video and we'll put the link in the description to see how you can set these up, or watch this reveal video first and we'll put a link at the end of the video so you can go back and see how we did this setup if you'd like to try it yourself or if you're interested to see how we did it. But today is all about this reveal. So basically we grew potatoes in these potato bags. Use a bit of a different system based off of growing them in your like more of a traditional potato grow bag. But in that case, you either have to fill the bag full and only plant potatoes on the top, in which case it's a lot more work for them to sink down to the bottom, or you have to do layers and every couple of weeks or a month you add more dirt and add more on top. This method, we cut holes in the side and the bottom, and that way they all grew at the same time. They're growing on all levels. And we'll do a quick photo here to show you what this bag looked like when it was kind of in full bloom and lots of foliage growing out of it. Now you can see that these potatoes are starting to die down a bit, and there's kind of ones around the back there too, but you're sort of starting to see those are starting to die off. We do have some that are still green here, but that's your sign that they're ready to harvest. We probably could leave them for longer, but we're a little anxious in seeing how they did. So one thing we did notice is we filled these with dirt and straw, a bit of a mix to keep that loose soil. And so originally the bag was filled to the top with dirt. You can see now it's kind of sunk down to about this level. Another really interesting fact too is because this was kind of closed in, we stapled the top of it. The potatoes on top, we'll show you right now, they didn't get that kind of greenness that you get if they were exposed to sunlight. So if you've grown potatoes kind of in the dirt, you'll know that if they're out of the dirt, you kind of get that green spot on the top, which isn't good to eat. It doesn't taste good and isn't that good for you. But because here it was protected from the light, those top potatoes look just as good as the other ones that we are going to harvest from down beneath. So some really kind of good points that came out of the system, and now we're just hoping we got a really good yield as we kind of expect. So without further ado, let's get to it and dump these in through the mesh here. We're gonna save the dirt, which we'll reuse again, and see exactly how many potatoes we got. And I'm gonna kind of pull these off here first so they're not getting kind of caught in there. So we're gonna kind of pull all these out so that we're just getting the dirt. You kind of see we get some little potatoes. It's not much that's gonna come off there. Through the straw that we planted, we got some wheat, so we'll save that and feed that to the chickens, just because we don't waste anything around here. That you can see is kind of our old seed potato that is moldy, but that's grown lots of new ones down below, which is great. So bunch on the top already. We're going to open up these staples, remove some of this kind of grass and debris that was on the top. Woo. Okay, let's get dumping. Yeah. Pieces out aren't going to go through. And now we're kind of already doing our next step, which is resifting this soil, which we're going to reuse again in other projects because it was a lot of compost, so very kind of nutrient rich, good soil. Oh, I was worried there weren't some big ones hiding in there, but there are. Woohoo! I'm not gonna lie, that had me a little worried. And again, you can see how much dirt is coming out of that one spot, just the kind of depth of soil that we had in there. So. And we did put drainage in the bottom of these, but this bottom part definitely is a little bit more kind of damp than those top layers. So definitely want to make sure you have good drainage holes in the bottom. And again, if you wanted to, you could just kind of dump these out and look, but we kind of want to aerate this soil and clean out any chunks and make sure we get all the potatoes. And then we're going to put it right back into planting our next project. So we're kind of doing 2 steps all at once here. Okay, well, there you have it. So definitely not as many as we were hoping for, I don't think. But considering the amount of size that we took up, we're always looking for space-saving ideas. So the fact that it was only taking up this much square footage on our 0.4 acre property here, where we're trying to grow as much of our own food as we can provide for ourselves, that's still not a bad harvest. There's no way we would have kind of grown, you know, if you think about it, that's probably the square footage of what the bag was. So there's no way we would have grown that many potatoes in that amount of space. So little disappointing we didn't get a little bit more, but definitely more than we would have got growing it in a normal size potato bag or growing them in the ground in that same amount of square footage. So we'll put the link right here to the original video where you can watch how to do this. And we're also recycling and reusing our chicken feed bags, which is another thing that we're not throwing into the garbage, which is great as well. So super easy to do. We'll reuse this again and again until they start to break down a little bit. So we hope you found that useful. Please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another video.